Someone can insult you in 5 seconds, but your mind can replay that exact moment for 5 days. One sentence said in anger, and suddenly your peace is gone. You aren't even talking to them anymore, but inside your head, the conversation is still happening. You imagine what you should have said. You draft perfect imaginary replies. This happens because an insult doesn't act like a simple sentence. It acts like a heat-seeking missile, targeting the insecurities you already hold. If a stranger tells you that you are secretly a tree, you laugh. But if someone attacks your work, your choices, or your worth, the words suddenly feel heavy. The pain registers because a quiet part of your mind asks a terrifying question. What if they are right? That small crack of doubt is exactly where the insult breaches your defenses. Over 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Epictetus observed this exact human tendency. He recognized that we are rarely damaged by the events that happen to us, but rather by the views we take of those events. Look at this diagram mapping what the Stoics call the two arrows. The first arrow is the external insult, the event itself. The second, much larger arrow looping back, represents the internal meaning we invent and then inflict on ourselves. A cruel word is essentially a weightless object. It only gains the power to disturb you when you actively agree to pick it up and carry it into your inner life. The other person spoke once, your mind became their echo. Think about the physical sensation of being disrespected. Your heart rate spikes, your face flushes. Your ego triggers an immediate biological reflex to either launch a counterattack or aggressively defend yourself. We can break this reflex. This timeline shows a stimulus leading to a reaction. Inserting a 3-second gap right here creates a buffer between what someone says and what we do next. This deliberate pause preserves your agency. It creates the space required to acknowledge the sting of an insult without surrendering your behavior to it. By stepping into that short silence, you stop yourself from reflexively mirroring the cruelty of your attacker. You pause the ego. Inside that brief 3-second window is the exact psychological location where you decide what kind of person you want to be. It is where your character overrides your instinct. During those 3 seconds, you have a very specific job. You must perform a cognitive triage on the words that were just thrown at you. Run the insult through 3 questions. Is it true? Is there utility? Will reacting serve my character? This creates 2 paths: objective truth or empty noise. If valid, take the lesson and improve. If false, the branch dissolves. Discard it. By filtering external words through this strict, unemotional logic, you ensure that useless noise is permanently denied a home in your mind. You leave the poison on the table. Modern culture teaches a very loud version of strength. We are told to have a savage reply ready, to win the argument, and to visibly destroy our opponents. But immediate, angry retaliation actually proves the opposite of strength. If you lash out the second you are criticized, you are demonstrating that the other person successfully hijacked your nervous system. True psychological endurance, however, looks entirely different. It takes real power to feel intense anger burning in your chest, and yet maintain absolute quiet control over your subsequent actions. This does not mean you accept continuous disrespect. You can still firmly demand decent treatment, set hard boundaries, or simply walk out of the room. The crucial difference lies in the source of your action. A reaction is driven by emotional slavery to the attacker. A response is driven by your own internal clarity and choice. We live in a heavily connected world where constant criticism and digital noise are inescapable. A single notification can reach you at any hour and try to disturb your peace. You win when you reach an internal state where external insults no longer dictate your behavior. Peace comes from controlling your response to the world, rather than trying to control the world itself.